Past continuous tense. This tense is also known as past progressive tense. We will learn how to form past continuous tense and when to use this tense. When we talk about past, then there are two basic tenses, past simple and past continuous. The other two forms of the past tense, that is past perfect and past perfect continuous, are the advanced versions of the past tense. Now we come to the main topic, past continuous tense. Now we discuss when to use past continuous tense. It is used to describe an action that was continuing or in progress in the past, or to describe conditions that existed in the past, or to talk about two actions taking place at the same time in the past. Here we discuss few examples. When we talk about action continuing in the past, the example of the same will be it was raining all day. This tense may also be used to talk about an action continuing in the past which was interrupted by another action. For example, I was eating dinner when she arrived. Next example may be we were sleeping when you called. In both these examples, when she arrived, when you called, she arrived, you called. These are the interruptions. What was going on in the past? I was eating dinner, we were sleeping, and then came the interruption. Interruption is she arrived, you called. This tense may also be used to talk about an action continuing at a particular time in the past. For example, at 1 p.m. I was eating lunch. That is, at 1 o'clock I was doing some action, that is, I was eating lunch at a particular time in the past. We can also use this tense to describe parallel actions or events at the same time in the past. That is, some parallel actions were going on in the past at the same time, and we can describe the same with the help of past continuous tense. For example, she was studying at the same time while her mother was cooking food. Both the actions, action of studying and cooking of food by her mother, was going on at the same time. Next, formation of this sentence. First comes the subject, then we have to add was or her. This is the helping verb. Then comes the basic form of the verb, and we have to add ing. Then comes the object. In case of subject I, he, she, it, we use the verb was, and in the case of you, we, they, we use were. For example, I was, he was, she was, it was working. And when there are persons in plural, that is my friends or they, we use were. We have also to use were when the object is you or we. We are working, you are working, you were working, we were working, they were working, my friends were working. Now we come to the positive, negative, and interrogative form of the past continuous tense. First, positive form. Positive, when we want to form the tense in positive form, this is the formation. First comes the subject. This is followed by was or were. Then comes the first form of the verb, and then we have to add ing, and then comes the object. We see examples of this positive tense. I was eating pizza. I is the subject, then comes the was. Eat is the basic form of the verb, and then comes the ing, then comes pizza. Pizza is the object. In the same way, you is the subject, then comes were. Eat is the basic form of the verb, then comes ing, and then comes object. In the same way, example is he was eating pizza. When we talk about negative form of the past continuous tense, we have to add not in the sentence. The formation of the sentence will be first come sentence subject, then comes the was or were, then we have to add not, then comes verb, then comes ing, and then comes object. You will see that the example of this tense negative form is I was not eating pizza. This is the subject, this is was, then comes negative formation not. It is the first form of the verb, then we add ing and then object. Other examples are you were not eating pizza, he was not eating pizza. When we talk about the interrogative form of the past continuous tense, we start the sentence with was or were as is applicable. So here are few examples. Was I eating pizza? Please don't forget to mark the question mark at the end of the sentence. Next, were you eating pizza? As already told, when the subject is you, we, they, we have to use were. In the case of I, he, she, it, we use was. So here we are using were. Were you eating pizza? In the case of subject is third person, he, she, it is the third person. So we use the start the question with was. Was he eating pizza? We may also use WH questions in the case of interrogation. What are these? In many cases, the question may, a sentence may start with where, what, why, how long, etc. Examples of the same are given here under. Where were you working yesterday? What were they doing last night? Why was he laughing? How long were you eating pizza? Here you will see that here WH questions are there. These are followed by was or were. Then comes the first form of the verb. Here you will see work, do, laugh is the first form of the verb. Then comes ing and then object, and at the last of the sentence question mark is there. Please note that we are to make contractions only in the case of negative sentence. In case of past continuous, was not becomes wasn't, were not becomes weren't, he wasn't sleeping, you weren't working. There we may also use short answers if anyone puts answer in past continuous. For example, was he sleeping? The answer will be yes, he was. You will see that there is no contraction. Were they sleeping? Yes, they were. Were you sleeping? Yes, I was. Please note that when a question is were you sleeping? The answer is yes, I was. You are not to answer yes, you were. The answer has been put to us and we are to give the reply. So here the answer will be yes, I was. If you say yes, you were, the answer will be wrong. If we give the answer in negative, then there may be contraction. No, he wasn't. Were they playing? No, they weren't. Were you sleeping? No, I wasn't. You will see that here the contraction has taken place. You will see was not. O has been removed, and in that place apostrophe has been put, and no space has been left between was and not. Next, we have to add ing in the first form of the verb in the case of past continuous tense. When you write verbs in past continuous and past present continuous and past continuous tense, we use ing at the end of the verb. There are certain rules which we have to follow while adding ing. What are these rules? Let us see. In the case of verbs which end in a silent mode, that is not pronounced e. In the case of use, smile and make, e is silent. In that case, we have to drop e. E is cut. And we add ing. You will see use becomes using, smile becomes smiling, make becomes making. E has been removed and ing has been added. Next comes in the case of verbs which follow the CVC pattern. What is CVC pattern? CVC pattern, C means consonant, V means vowel, C means consonant. Vowel means A, E, I, O, U. All the other alphabets of the English except vowel are known as consonant. In that case, we have to double the last letter. Here you will start from the last. T is a consonant, I is vowel, A, E, I, O, U. S is also a consonant in case of run. N is consonant, U is vowel, run, R is consonant. In the case of clap, P is consonant, A is vowel, L is consonant. So here we will double the last word and add ing. Right? Sit becomes sitting. Here T has been doubled. Here in the case of run, running, N has been doubled. And in the case of clap, clapping, P has been doubled. However, there may be certain exceptions to this rule. For example, open becomes opening. Here N has not been doubled. Visit becomes visiting. T has not been doubled. Happen becomes happening. N has not been doubled. Though these also follow the CVC pattern, but there are certain exceptions always in certain cases. In the case of verbs ending in IE, for example, lie and tie, we have to drop IE. We will remove IE, we will add Y and then add ING. Lie becomes lying, tie becomes time. However, in the case of most verbs, we simply add ing. Eat becomes eating. No change. Only ing has been added. Send becomes sending. Only ing added. Walk becomes walking. Only ing has been added to the verb. Now the question arises, when not to use this tense? When not to use past continuous tense? We are not to use this tense in the case of stative verbs. What are the stative verbs? First, we must understand that the verbs are of two types, active verbs and stative verbs. Active verbs are also known as dynamic verbs. These are action verbs. They express a physical action. For example, run, jump, swim, cook. These are action verbs, dynamic verbs or active verbs. On the other hand, stative verbs describe a state rather than an action. They relate to thoughts, opinions, emotional or mental state. Verbs like feel, know, smell, touch, need, understand, imagine, have and love fall in the category of stative verb. Let us understand the stative verbs with examples. For example, he was knowing me since 2015. Here you will observe that now is a stative verb. Next line, he was hating me. Hate is a stative verb. In the same way, next line, we were wanting to call you. Want is a stative verb. He was having a pen. Have is a stative verb. As already told that stative verbs cannot be used in the continuous form, whether it is present tense or past tense. So all these sentences are wrong. Instead, here we should use past simple tense. That is, we should say, he knew me. That is, we are to use the second form of the verb. He knew me since 2015. He hated me. We wanted to call you. He had a pen. That is, we are not using the stative verbs in past continuous form. Rather, these sentences are to be made in the form of past simple tense. Here we have given these sentences after correcting the same in the form of past simple tense. Next, use of words always, constantly, when and while in the past continuous tense. Past continuous can be used with the words always and constantly. For example, he was always leaving the tap running. He was constantly talking. The conjunctions when and while are commonly used to connect the past continuous with the past simple in a sentence. Example, I was cooking food when she arrived. The action which was going on in the past, this is the action. I was cooking food. This is the action which was going on in the past in past continuous tense. The other part of the sentence, this is the other part of the sentence that follows when is in the past simple tense. That is, she arrived is in past simple tense, whereas the sentence which shows the action was going on in the past is in past continuous form. When, what does this when show? When shows an interrupting action, it needs to be in past simple tense. In other words, the action which was going on in the past has to be in the form of past continuous, whereas the interrupting action has to be in the form of past simple tense. Next, while I was cooking food, she arrived. While. While is usually followed by a verb in the past continuous form. You will see that while is being followed by the past continuous formation. While expresses the idea of during that time. Both these sentences, above sentences, that is, I was cooking food when she arrived, or while I was cooking food, she arrived, have similar meanings. Both these sentences, the examples given above, have the same meaning, but they emphasize different parts of the sentence. As you will observe, this sentence is giving emphasis on when she arrived, whereas this sentence is giving emphasis on while I was cooking food. Common mistakes which are observed in past continuous tense. Wrong tense. I am sleeping when you called. You will note that here am has been used as helping verb, where we have to use I was sleeping when you called. Here you was working. Here you will note that with you, we, and they, we are to use were. And in the case of I, he, she, it, we use was. So here we are to use you were working. Next, he was writing. You have already observed from the previous slides that in case of certain verbs, when we have to add ing, e has to be dropped. So write becomes writing. That is, e has to be dropped. He was writing. You are to write full sentence. Why you were laughing? Here you will see that it is an interrogative sentence. So the WH form of the question has to be followed by were. Why were you laughing? Please note to mention the interrogation mark at the last of the sentence. Next, I was knowing him. Now is a stative verb. So this sentence is wrong. We can make this sentence in past simple form and it will come as I knew him. But this will be in the form of past simple form and not in the past continuous form. Missing words. He selling a pen. He was selling a pen. As already told, first comes sentence, then comes was oblique verb, then we have to add verb first form, then ing, and then object. This is the formation of the sentence. Now we are to do the practice of this sentence. I am going. As already told, the helping verb used is was oblique verb. Here, I was going. She did meet her friends yesterday. You have already observed that here we have to use the verb in the first form plus we have to use ing. She was meeting her friends yesterday. I was read. Read is the first form and we have to simply add ing. I was reading my book when she came. They were laughing. We have to make it in the negative form. We are to simply add not. They were not laughing. You are to write the sentence in full. We are writing only short form. He was reading. He was not reading. Hina was cooking. Hina was not cooking. What we have done is we have simply added not. Interrogative. Now we are to make the sentence interrogative. What we are to do? We are to place was before the object. Was she playing? Next, we were going to bazaar. We are to place verb before the subject. We. Were we going to bazaar? We are to make interrogative mark at the end of the sentence. They were purchasing a new house. Were they purchasing a new house? Please don't forget to add interrogation sign at the end of the interrogative sentence. Summary. Here you will see that was has been added in the case of he, she, it. He was, and this is the first form of the verb, and ing has been added, and this is the contraction of the word was not. He was not sleeping. If we write in this way, this is also correct. If we write it in full form, he was not sleeping, this is also correct. You may use any of the form. And this is the interrogative sentence. Was he sleeping? This is the WH form of the question. What were you doing? And where were you doing? Thanks for watching. If you like our course, please spare some time to give a star rating to our course.